Hello everyone and welcome back to Pokemon Hoenn Challanges. Eduard here. Last time we had a little run with Aaron, who went from not being able to take a punch to tanking Earthquake like a champ. And so this month I wanted to play through Pokemon Emerald with a team of Wingull and Taillow. Taillow learns okay moves by level up, with Aerial Ace being one of the better ones. Can also learn from some good TMs though, so with the ability Guts, could hit hard too. Wingull on the other hand doesn't learn any good water moves, but instead has a wide TM list that can cover up a few weaknesses. The two birds have almost identical stats, with Taillow having high physical attack and Wingull having high special attack. Both have very good speed, but everything else is quite low, amounting to the same stat total of 270. They're both quite adorable too. Since this is a Emerald run, the end will be our fight against Wallace as champion, but we will try out Steven in the post game. I will explain the rules that I am going by for this challenge. I can only use Wingull and Taillow in battle. However, I can't switch at will, only when the Pokemon faints, either theirs or mine. No glitches or extra are allowed, but I don't know any, so that's okay. No items in battle, but using them outside is fine and giving health items is okay too. A special fourth rule is keeping the level below or equal to the level cap. It increases with each second gym. In case the level cap is surpassed, then I can't switch that Pokemon or start with it in a battle. However, I can stay with it in the battle where it surpasses until it faints or I switch out. So with that all out of the way, let's go! First I use the Universal Randomizer to change Torchic with Taillow so that we can start the run with one, while also giving our rival at least a little bit of a chance. Saving Birch from Zigazungun is not that difficult, but it does take a few hits to bring it down. We get our Taillow and name her Ingrid. Before we're able to get our second Pokemon, we gotta fight against Brandon, our rival. And so he brings out Mudkip. The fight starts with an exchange of peck and tackle. Next round we peck him to half HP as he growls at us. It ends our attack a little, and with the little luck that we have, Mudkip survives the last peck as he finishes us off with the tackle. It does not bode well to lose the first rival fight. However, on the second try we use Growl as well, keeping his damage low as we manage to win with many more pecks. Before we continue, we get our Pokeballs and our Doodoo companion is lost in the grass. And we have to find them. After a little while of searching, we find ourselves a nice Wingull that is then named Marianne. And with a level cap of 15, we can't level too much. So we try out Roxanne's gym at level 12. We start with Marianne, our Wingull, against Roxanne's Geodudes. It goes down quite fast, as one water gun is enough to bring each of them down. A few tries later and we confuse it with our first, making it hit itself again. A water gun to self-hit later, we hit with another water gun, as it then tries to Rock Tomb, which misses, as he eats the berry. We hit with water gun again as he lands in right HP, and then hits himself to 1 pixel HP. Which then gets healed up with Potion, which gets brought down by Water Gun again. However, the next two Water Guns finish it off as the second one crits it down, and we get ourselves our first badge. Before we leave Rosboro, Brandon is here for a fight once again. He starts out with the Slugma, as we bring out Ingrid first. Ingrid hits with a strong wing attack as it yawns at her. One more wing attack and it goes down. We switch to Marianne, as it brings out Mudkip. We start with a Water Gun, as I forgot Mudkip is only water. It also retaliates with a water gun, and so we switch to wing attacks as it does more damage, just to get rolled on by Mudkip. However, wing attack still does good damage as Mudkip keeps using water gun on us. A few turns later, it faints. So we reach Brawly, who as usual starts with a Machop, where we start with Marianne, our Wingull who resists fighting moves. A wing attack brings it to around half HP, as it Karate Chops us for 9. Another wing attack and it almost faints, as it lands another Karate Chop. Brawly then uses a potion to heal it up, as the wing attack brings it back down to above half HP. So our next wing attack doesn't finish it off again, as it brings us down to 1 single HP. As we finally finish it off with a wing attack, we switch to Ingrid as Meditite comes out. Meditite prepares a Focus Punch as Ingrid hits it with a wing attack, critting it and thus one-shotting it. With the experience gained, our Ingrid surpasses the level cap and so she has to stay in the battle. Brawly brings out his Makuhita, which Ingrid hits strong with a wing attack, but falls to Vital Throw. We bring out Marianne as Makuhita eats a citrus berry, and then Marianne comes with a critical wing attack, taking it down. With that, we get our second badge and our level cap increases to 35. We skip the Team Aqua at the museum while going straight for our third fight with Brandon. As he now shows off his Lombre, Marianne hits hard with a wing attack as it gets swift from nature power and hits us. Another wing attack and it falls down. Slugma comes next, so we stay with Marianne as it melts away from Water Gun. Lastly comes Marsh Storms as we bring out Ingrid. Wing attack does less than a third of his total HP as he bites. This gives me the opportunity to double team and focus energy as the next wing attack crits and we win easily. Afterwards, our worst enemy yet appears, Watson, the Electric Gym leader. Ingrid is first as we double team to evade everything, as his Warthog misses with his first spark. Then his second spark hits us as well as paralyzed, activating our Guts ability. However, that was his last spark to hit as we double team once again and afterwards hit him twice with quick attack. Next comes his Electrike, who instantly charges with his own quick attack and finishes us off with a focus energy. So we have to bring in Marianne, who deals less than half the HP with Water Gun as she instantly goes down to a Shockwave. Now that I think about it, Shockwave always hits, so double team is kinda useless in this gym. I tried again after leveling both to level 30, but it was still impossible against Manectric. So I changed my strategy a little bit. I leveled Ingrid up to level 33 to gain a little bit more attack power and get her poisoned. This way, after boosting her with focus energy, she will crit nicely as Warthog also brings her down to almost half HP. But her berry heals her for 10 HP. Warthog goes down to a quick crit attack as Electric goes down to a simple quick attack. And Manectric goes down to a quick crit attack as well, as Ingrid's HP dwindled from poison. Magneton comes last. Sadly, Ingrid doesn't crit it as Marianne has to come out to finish it. Marianne lets out a supersonic, which confuses it, as it thunder waves us. The rolls favor us as the next hit lets Water Gun pass as Magneton hits itself. On the final round, Magneton is still confused as it hit itself and goes down to Marianne's Water Gun. And with that, we manage to stay under the level cap and get ourselves our third and maybe hardest badge. With now rocks in the way, we get ourselves a cute little Zigzagoon and name her third here to become our HM user. So we climb the mountains and reach the volcano. We find again the beefed up Poochyena and we take notes. And then we go meet up with Maxie. Expecting the Mightyena, I bring out Marianne first. The Water Gun crit does a lot of damage, but it gets healed up again. As Mightyena gets a hit in first with Bite. We continue with Water Gun as Bite continues to hurt, but a few turns later it faints. Thus, Zubat is next, so we switch to Ingrid, who is very close to the level cap. Zubat survives an aerial ace and hits with wing attack. However, even with the super potion, Zubat doesn't survive a second aerial ace. So next is his Camerupt, for whom we bring out Marianne again. She finishes it very quickly with Water Gun, getting to level 34 as well. It's a bit close to the level cap, but thankfully the next gym is close. Without getting a single level, we challenge Flannery, as she brings out Numble. We start with Marianne, so it becomes a bit of an easy start, as Water Gun finishes it off in one hit. She brings out the Slugma next, so I switch to Ingrid. An aerial ace in, and Slugma uses Sunny Day. This will dry up our next few attacks. She completely restores it with Hyper Potion, as two aerial aces finish it off. Camerupt is next, and thanks to Sunny Day, survives and a hit and tries to use Overheat, but misses. Next Water Gun finishes it off, as Tarkle comes next. A normal Water Gun does almost half HP, as Tarkle lets the sun come out again. Next Water Gun puts it at almost a third of HP, as it then hits an Overheat, and finishes off Marianne in one shot. So we bring out Ingrid, who is not able to finish off Tarkle with Aerial Ace, as it misses an Overheat, just to get healed completely with another Hyper Potion. I try to get Ingrid's evasiveness up with Double Team, as Tarkle finishes her off with an Overheat, giving me two crispy birds. Okay, we gotta try again. This time I stayed with Marianne the whole time, as Water Gun never had to see the sun until Tarkle came out. But instead of Water Gun, we use Supersonic as our first move. So Tarkle hits itself instead. In the second round, a Water Gun gets Tarkle to half HP as it puts up Sunny Day. Afterwards, Water Gun put it so just above healing range and she gets fried with another Overheat. So Ingrid has to give it the rest. Ingrid hits with Aerial Ace, but it holds on with a slather of HP, as it then hits itself in Confusion, giving us the 4th gym badge and allowing our Pokemon to get to level 50. We get ourselves return on Ingrid and we challenge Norman. My strategy was a bit of an easy one, double team and return. So we double team twice, spin that also hits hard with the facade, as we then crit with the return, taking it down. Vigorov comes next, as he takes a return just to miss his facade and goes down to our second return. So Linoon comes out. It survives the return as well, as it headbutts Ingrid, making her fall. Marianne comes out, and I use Shockwave, which is survived with a slit of HP and hits hard with Slash, just to get healed afterwards. A few Shockwave later it hits us again with Slash, but we survive with 5 HP. Sadly, we can't finish it off with Shockwave, as Slash brings Marianne to faint. I will have to see if it works like this, or if I need a few more levels. After a few attempts, I get a run where Ingrid manages to dodge every attack, and Linoon uses Belly Drum instead of attacking, giving us 2 turns to finish it off. And so we swap to Marianne. One hit from Slacking is enough to one-hit either Marianne or Ingrid, so to protect ourselves we use Supersonic, and hope that Slacking hits itself. Which thankfully happens, as we Shockwave it almost endlessly, as Norman heals it with a Hyper Potion once. As Slacking gets low on HP however, it gets a facade off, and Marianne survives with 4 HP. And after 2 more shockwaves, it snaps out the confusion and hits us with Feint Attack. Thankfully we still have Ingrid, who finishes it off with a return, making this drawn out fight finally stop. And we get ourselves our 5th badge and Surf, which Marianne can't learn sadly. Oh, Dorothy has a mail on her mouth. Did you take that from Norman? Let me see.
Hey there! I'm Diddy! I'm up for a bit of racing on my friend Timber's island. We're in trouble, as Wispig is trying to take it over, and we just finished organizing it for a race. So, will you join us on our adventure?
Yay!
Okay. I wonder why Norman had it. But we will take it. One TM that I also absolutely need is going to be Ice Beam from the Broken Ship. I could have gotten it earlier with the game corner, but I didn't want to waste my time playing Casino. On our way to the 6th gym, we meet Shelly from Team Aqua, and it goes rather well for us, as both go down to a few aerial aces, with Marianne almost posing a danger with Swagger. And thus, we get our Flash HM user. Our rival Brandon also poses no damage, with Lombre going down to his aerial ace, Sagma to a water gun, and Marstomp goes down to a 1-2 combo of Ice Beam and Water Gun. So we get the HM for Fly, which we teach both our Pokemon. Since he gave Marianne Ice Beam, this fight should be a cakewalk too. We start with Ingrid, who one-shots Wablu with Return, as we bring in Marianne to her Tropius, who falls quickly to Ice Beam. Happy Lipper is next, but it too is a one-shot, this time with Shockwave. Her Skarmory can tank one Shockwave, but it doesn't deal enough damage against Marianne, so it faints on the second hit. And last is her Altaria, who handles Ice Beam as badly as Tropius, making this our easiest gym badge ever. And the level cap increases to 65. The last Brandon fight goes the same as the other one. With Tropius first, we get to use the move Brandon gave us, Fly, as Ingrid flies high and dives down, finishing Tropius off in one hit. Next is Lauma, for whom we bring out Marianne with Water Gun. So he brings out Ludicolo afterwards, who goes down the same way as Tropius. As Marstomp comes last, posing the biggest threat, as Ice Beam deals now less than half of each HP in damage, as he misses Takedown. A Water Gun brings him to almost red HP, as he crits us with Takedown, doing more than 70 damage. But he almost took himself down too. However, we then finish him off with a Water Gun, giving us access to the store, so that I can buy all the protein and calcium I need. Sadly, Taillow's EVs are already filled up, and we can only give 3 calcium to Marianne, getting ourselves these stats for both of them. Next on the line are Magma leader Maxi and Aqua admin Matt. Maxi brings out Mighty Anna as usual, so we start with Marianne's Ice Beams. It only takes 2 beams for Mighty Anna to go down, but it did slow down Marianne considerably. Camerobe is next, as he survives a hit from Water Gun, only to hit hard with Rock Slide. I really wish I had a better water move. Next is Crobat, who thanks to Scary Face is faster than Marianne and defeats her with Wing Attack. So Ingrid comes out and takes revenge with a return. It survives, but it only does around 50 damage to us, while we then finish it off with a second return. Matt has a few Pokemon less, but he starts with Marianne too. The first round is exactly the same as with Maxie, as Ice Beam damages it quite a bit and it uses Scary Face, thankfully missing it in this fight. Matt then restores it with Super Potion as it tanks another Ice Beam. However, the Shockwave then finishes it off, and Matt's other Pokemon is a Golbat who goes down quickly to Ice Beam. Why are Team Aqua and Magma still using Super Potions? Don't be so cheap, guys, I know what you guys can use. Special gym time, and this time without Dummy. Tate and Lisa bring out Zato and Claydol. With an amazing start, we finish off Claydol with an Ice Beam crit as Zato survives a return and Coal Mines. Lunatone comes out to replace Claydol, as Marianne uses Water Gun on it, and Ingrid uses Return to finish off Zato. Solrock comes out too, as we then Ice Beam and Steel Wing Lunatone down, only for Solrock to bring out the real sun. It then tanks an Ice Beam and both Ice Beam and Steel Wing, while hitting Ingrid with Psychic for half HP, and then eats a Citrus Berry. However, that only saved it from Ice Beam, as Steel Wing finishes it off and we win ourselves our 7th badge. Before we can challenge Juan, we gotta finish up Team Magma and then Team Aqua as well. First, we have our fight against Maxie and Tabitha. With Steven by our side this time, we take Marianne first and Ingrid second. With Camerot and Marianne up, we can get a Water Gun straight for the Camerot, drowning it instantly, as Marianne uses Scary Face on Marianne, and Metang uses Light Shield. Now Marianne is slower than Golbat as it confuses Metang, but Metang just puts up Reflect instead, as we beam Golbat away with the crit, as Tabitha brings out his own Marianne, only for Marianne to get Scary Faced again. Metang finally attacks and we get swaggered and take a takedown before hitting ourselves in the face. The Marianne start to focus on Metang with takedown as Marianne gets a few Ice Beams in, while Metang hits itself. Seeing one with very low HP, I decided on using Water Gun to finish it off. However, Metang takes it out with Metal Claw, getting Maxie to bring out his own Camerupt, who gets finished off by Water Gun in one hit. That went much better than expected, as Marianne then brings out his final Pokemon, Crobat. It attacks with Wing Attack on Metang, as Metang then finishes off Marianne, and Marianne beams Crobat to red HP, as the last round has Crobat using Mean Eye, as Metang comes in again with Metal Claw. Always getting the last hit in this one. Oh well. Shortly afterwards we arrive a little bit before Archie, as Kyurem is still asleep. Marianne comes first, but this time we have Ingrid out, so Intimidate is unhelpful. A return brings him to half HP as it drops our speed. He tries to heal up with a Super Potion, but it doesn't stop return. Due to the speed drop, Marianne gets a takedown off, as it puts Ingrid almost at half HP, but it then faints to return. We switch to Marianne as Crobat comes next. An Ice Beam is not enough as Crobat then confuses us with Confuse Ray. Crobat then gets healed with Super Potion as well, while Marianne keeps hitting herself. At the third try we get an Ice Beam off that finishes Crobat. For Sharpedo we bring Ingrid in, as a single return is enough for the Glass Cannon Sharpedo. Now we just have to summon Rayquaza and get Rowden and Kyurem back into their hibernations, and thankfully we don't have to fight any of them, as they tend to be very strong. Next on the list is our 8th gym, and I will go ahead and spare you all the gruesome fights that happened the first 11 tries. So I decided to level them up a little bit more, as we get this run afterwards. It starts with Love Disc versus Ingrid. It gets decided in one return. Cerealio and Marianne are next. A Shockwave brings it to below half, as it hits a strong Aurora Beam. A second Shockwave defeats it. Kingdra is next, and due to its strong special defense, I decide to bring in Ingrid. As Ingrid attacks, we defeat it with one critical hit. Next is Witchcatch, for which we bring out Marianne. An Ice Beam brings it to half HP as it boosts its special defense with Amnesia. The second beam doesn't finish it off, but freezes it, as Witchcatch defreezes itself and makes it rain, and then gets healed up with Hyper Potion 2. Well, time to bring out the flying technique, as we use Fly a few times, but Witchcatch gets healed once again, as Marianne's HP are starting to dwindle. We switch to Ice Beam to weaken it a little bit, as it hits us with Water Pulse, making Marianne fall to her knees with only 6 HP, as she stalls again to strike Witchcatch with the rest of her power. making it faint. So we bring in Ingrid, who hits hard with a return, taking it down to a quarter of its HP. Crawdon also gets a hit in with Crab Hammer in the rain, making another one of our Pokemon stay at death's door with only 4 HP. Thankfully, Ingrid is fast as she finishes it off with a return. With that, we have gained our 8th badge and thus defeated all the gym leaders, bringing our level cap to 80. Before we have the Elite Four we sent before the war that is called Wally. It starts with an Altaria as we bring out Ingrid. Ingrid hits with a strong return as Altaria Dragon Dances. Before its dance comes into effect, Ingrid defeats it with another return. With Altaria gone comes Magneton. Return does almost half HP of damage as it then thunderbolts Ingrid, defeating her in one shot. Marianne comes out as we hit an Ice Beam, which brings it to a slither of HP, as Thunderbolt also defeats Marianne. Some tries and leveling later, we come back to Wally. This time we start with Marianne, as Ice Beam finishes off Altaria in one hit. Magneton comes out, gets hit by Ice Beam and freezes. A Water Gun later, Magneton finally falls. Delcatty comes next, so we swap to Ingrid, who instantly crits with return, taking it down as well. We stay in for Gardevoir too, as a return brings her down to red HP as she foretells an attack. 2 rounds of feel and return later, we get hit by Future Sight, bringing us just above half HP, as we finish Gardevoir off. Rosalia is last, so Ingrid stays in again. We fly up and miss our attack, as we get hit by Magical Leaf. A second try of Fly goes up, as we hit and finish off his last Pokemon. Now we only have the Elite Four and Champion left. And I even did the math and came up with a very nice strategy. I will call it the Burning Guts. This will require a little bit of preparing. One is teaching Ingrid the move Facade, the second is getting burned by a Wild Slugma with Flame Body, or poisoned by a Wild Oddish level. So I will explain my math, which might be a little bit wrong, but that's the best I can do at the moment. Which might be a little wrong, but it's the best that I came up with. So the move Facade is a bit special, as it is normally a power 70 move with 100 accuracy. However, when the user is paralyzed, poisoned or burned, the move gets double the power, making it a 140 power move. In 3rd gen, burned would be a wasted status, as the side effect of burn reduces the damage you do with physical moves by half. Double, however, we have a Taillow with the ability of Guts, which has a similar effect to Facade, as in when you're suffering from burned, poisoned or paralyzed, you will inflict 50% more damage than usual. This does ignore the side effect of burn, so it works perfectly. So now we have a boosted Facade, as well as the stat boost from Taillow being normal type, making the total power of Facade 210. And if we add in the Silk Scarf that Ingrid is carrying, which gives another 10%, it stands then at a powerful 231. With the 50% Guts boost, it would be at around 346. So while Taillow is not the strongest physical attacker, it's still going to hit like 1,000 trucks at once. Side note, after Gen 3, they fixed the burning Facade by making Facade ignore the reduced damage from burn. So after all that preparing, we get to test our strategy instantly with Sydney, as it goes so much better than I expect. Marianne comes first and intimidates us, but it goes down in one Facade, as does Absol, and Shiftry, and Cacturne, and Crawdon. With that, not a single Pokemon can stand after taking one hit from Facade, even with lowered attack due to intimidation. Man, I haven't felt this strong since Zigzagoon. Next on the line is Phoebe, with Ghost Pokemon. A little dent in our strategy, but we might still have a chance. And if Ingrid stays burnt and alive, it would also free up the rest to Burning Guts. We bring Marianne first, as Dusclops just keeps protecting itself from my moves. And then it confuses us, making Marianne hit itself. Making Marianne hit herself. And even gets Shadow Punched. We manage to bring it to red HP, but get confused again and Marianne hits herself out of the fight. Ingrid has to come and finish the first Dusclops with Fly. Ingrid manages to finish off the first Dusclops with Fly as she brings out her Bennett. We fly high and hit hard again, but Bennett hits harder with Thunder Shock, making Ingrid faint. With many tries behind me, I decide to level till level 70 first and try again. We start with Ingrid as she flies over the Protect barrier and hits hard, a critical one-shot. We save for Bennett too, as it is a bit weaker against physical moves. A single fly is enough to make it faint too, and she brings out her second Dusclops. A fly brings it to lower than half HP, as it then finishes Ingrid with a Rock Slide. Marianne comes out and hits with Water Pulse, making Dusclops confused. However, it attacks back with another Rock Slide, which Marianne survives, and we finish Dusclops off with another Water Pulse. Her other Banette comes out. Water Pulse does around half HP, as Banette uses Grudge. Another Water Pulse finishes it off, taking all our power points with it. Her last Pokemon is Sableye. Marianne shoots a beam as it double teams. However, double team does nothing, as Shockwave always hits. Man, it feels nice to use this after having it used so many times on my Pokemon when I use double team. But Sableye then fades and we defeat Phoebe. But at what price? I heal up Ingrid with a revive and some soda. And I go against Glacy. Fear her without a heat source. We will see how it goes. I can always retry Phoebe a bit more. Taillow comes first, as Ingrid goes straight for double team, as Taillow makes it hail. Next round we try Steel Wing, as it misses. Then comes Taillow's Ice Ball, as it misses. We hit with Steel Wing, as Ice Beam hit Ingrid's head as well. Ingrid then flies up and dives down to deal a bit more damage. However, she then faints to another Ice Ball hitting her head, so we have to bring out Marianne, who takes out Taillow with a Shockwave. Glacy then brings her first Glalie out. The Water Pulse makes it confused, but not enough to make it hit itself, as it uses Icy Wind. A repeat round later, and Glalie gets healed with a full restore. Next round, Glalie acts first, as Marianne became very slow down due to the cold wind coming from it, and then falls to a crunch. I'm having a bad feeling like this. And many failed attempts later, after many failed attempts later, I decided to try and fight Phoebe some more and try to win without Ingrid fainting. Many tries later, we get a few lucky crits on the two Dusclops, and I managed to reach Glacy without Ingrid fainting. However, I wonder if that was such a good idea, as we have our Phoenix coming out again in full power. Hitting Taillow with Facade, defeating it in one hit. Same with Glalie, and the second Taillow, and the second Glalie, and the last Walrein. From an almost impossible fight to a cakewalk. Next on the fiery path is Drake. Shelgon is first as it protects itself, only pushing the inevitable by one round away. As the next round, Facade hits hard and it faints. As those Salamence, almost, it survives with 1 pixel of HP. And then hits Ingrid hard with its Rock Slide. I was not expecting that. We then bring out Marianne, who easily defeats it with an Ice Beam, even after getting completely healed up. Altaria too. Then comes Kingdra, however, who not only tanks Ice Beam very easily, but also Shockwave, as it paralyzed us with Body Slam. However, one more Ice Beam finishes it off, but it goes down to one more Ice Beam, as Drake brings out his Flygon, who, thanks to Marianne being paralyzed, is faster and finishes us off with Dragon Breath. I think I might have to do a little bit of switcheroo for Salamence and Kingdra. With that in mind, we take out Salamence with Marianne and Kingdra with Ingrid, as we switch for a revenge fight for Marianne, as she takes out Flygon with an Ice Beam. There you go. There you go. The Elite Four are nothing in front of the Bird on Fire and the Water Bird. However, before we can truly mark the run as successful, we have to defeat Wallace first. His first Pokemon is Wailord, but we have Ingrid in the front lines, and the Facade is enough to finish it in one hit. Same for Tentacruel, Milotic, Ludicolo, and Wishcash. For the Water Onix, we bring out Marianne, who launches a Shockwave instantly. The Water Onix surprisingly survives and uses Dragon Dance. It then afterwards gets fully restored as well, as Shockwave brings it just before red HP again. Due to the Dragon Dance, the Water Onix is now quicker, as it uses Hyper Beam. And with its high attack stat and the Dragon Boost, Marianne stands no chance, as she faints in a single attack. So, we'll bring Ingrid out. Thankfully, the Water Onix has to recharge, as Ingrid finishes it off with Facade. And with that, we have won our first duo run with Taillow and Wingull. However, this is not yet the end, as we have one last trainer left. The post-game fight against Stephen Stone. And to make it short, I will only show my last fight. Small warning, for the leveling I went ahead and cheated a little bit by getting myself a lot of rare candies. as it would just become a mindless grind that would take me hours upon hours just to get a few levels, let alone level 100 if it comes to it, like in my Zigzagoon run, which I did without cheating candies, and it took me many hours of grinding. I wanted to save some of my time, just to see if it was possible to beat Steven with the 2 birdies. To make this into a small game too, I will hide my level, HP number and XP bar for the fight, and you guys can see if you can guess at what level I was able to beat Steven Stone, if at all. With that out of the way, Steven Stone, here I come. His first Pokemon is as always Skarmory, so we send in Marianne, who was the only solution to it, that one being Shockwave. As Skarmory throws some useless spikes that don't even hit flying Pokemon, so we finish it off with a second Shockwave. Next Pokemon is Claydol, so we quickly send Ingrid in, who is still burning hard with passion, as she hits a facade that one-shots it. Next comes Credilli, who gets hit by critical Steel Wing, going down as well. We gotta switch to Marianne for Armaldo, and as she prepares a big Ice Beam, Armaldo becomes frozen solid. Afterwards, Marianne has free range to use Water Pulse and finish it off too. Next comes Aggron, who gets hit by Water Pulse, gets confused and tries to use Thunder. Thankfully, he misses, as Steven uses full restore, only for Marianne to come back with a Water Pulse stronger than ever, critting Aggron between his metal platings. So, Steven only has one more Pokemon, his signature Metagross. We stay with Marianne trying out a Water Pulse, but Metagross tanks it easily and brings Marianne to red with a single Psychic. Marianne retaliates with her strongest Water Pulse, bringing Metagross down to just before healing range. Marianne takes another Psychic and faints. Ingrid is next, as Metagross eats his Citrus Berry. Ingrid prepares herself and brings out all the experience she has been gathering up to now into her last attack, as Metagross takes the critical facade and falls. And with that, Steven is down, with us being level 95, with Marianne having quite good speed and special attack, and Ingrid being just a little bit slower and having okay physical attack. With a total time of 21 hours and 27 minutes, it was quite fun playing with 2 Pokemons, both having the same weaknesses, but different strengths, made for a lot more fun fights than only concentrating on having one beefy Pokemon that does everything. I do wish I had thought of Facade much earlier, as I'm sure it would have made Juan a lot more easier too. This is now our 4th challenge, with 3 solo runs and 1 duo run. I have an idea for our next challenge. It would be on Emerald again. It could either be a duo or multi-Pokemon run, with similar ruling and a more evil theme. However, after that, I'm a bit out of ideas. So if you guys have any challenges you want to see done in any of the Hoenn games, then please do tell. I'm curious as to what others would be interested in seeing. So I hope you all enjoyed watching it as much as I did playing it, and hope you all have an amazing day. Bye!